everybody. All right, come on in, come on in. Oh, here I am, struggle streaming already. For anybody new here, hi, I am Maggie, Maggie the substitute teacher, doing a little pop up for you all. I didn't stream yesterday. I got some unexpected company, which was a good thing. So I was making dinner. I wanted to just do a little Q&A. We haven't done these in a while, so you can ask me anything, no agenda. I'll introduce myself. I make food and femininity content. I'm actually in Miami. Welcome to Miami. Bienvenidos a Miami. I'm actually in Miami for another YouTube event that will be this evening. So I've got a little bit of free time. So I thought I'd come on and do a little stream for you all. We got UFO Kamikaze in the house saying Miami Spice. I guess so. I don't ever see myself as spicy, but you know what? Who knows? All right, let's see here. If we can. All right, everything's good. Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm clicking on multiple tabs. Hopefully, I'm not messing it up. But like I said, I make food and femininity content. So I do coaching and consult outside of YouTube, one on one or group. And we're actually getting ready to start the finishing school for the modern woman this weekend. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. And from time to time, I like to give back. So any topic, any question, you can put it in the chat. You can also talk to me if you would like to talk to me. I will drop the link and you can ask your questions in real time, and they can be camera on or camera off. It's totally up to you. But yeah, I used to do these once a week or so, and you all can ask away. So I'm just checking my other tabs. Hopefully, I'm not messing anything up. All right, we're good over there. All right. As I click around, hopefully, we're still going. All right, how's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here. We're also streaming on USA Global TV and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbal's channel as well. So, no cooking stream this evening, clearly, because I'm not in the kitchen. I did go, this hotel that I'm in has a couple restaurants on either side. They don't have a house restaurant, but they have a place next door. It's a Latin restaurant, so it's called Taco Taco. So I went and got a taco and a salad. So I took some pictures and videos for you all. I'll be doing a recap. But yeah, just hanging out. And then I will make my way to the location for the YouTube event. This one, it is a yoga class on Miami Beach. Do I practice yoga? No. Has that ever stopped me? No. Y'all know I love to make research footage for you all. So, yep, just thought I'd hop on. If we don't have any questions, I will wrap it up early and maybe catch a few Z's before I go out. But it's beautiful. It's nice and humid. The pool is next door, so you may hear some splashing about. I'm not sure what you guys have planned for this weekend, so I will just give my announcements while we wait on the questions. So you can either type them in the chat. If you actually want to talk, you can be camera on or camera off. All right. Let's see. So today is the last day. Is today the last day? I think one more day. It ends tomorrow. Yeah, for the finishing school for the modern woman. We actually start on Sunday. The rest of the classes will be held on Saturday. It is our 8-week finishing school for ladies of all ages. Lucy and I teach this twice a year as our way of helping those ladies who maybe didn't get the teaching from your mother. If you want to know how to be a good woman to a good man, we can get you started on your way. So I was looking for the thumbnail. I don't see it, but yeah, just go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. Let me put the banner in here as well. There is a discount code for $50 off and we'll get your workbooks shipped to you. So I'm very excited about that. We teach the ladies from 18 to 60 plus, and then we have an amazing graduation. I was about to say here in Atlanta, but I'm actually in Miami. We have an amazing graduation ceremony. Um, give them their awards and just put everything to practice. That's going to be in the spring. All right, we have a question here from the Watcher Supreme. He says, "Hey Maggie, I remembered you said that your current man is high value, but I was wondering if your ex-husband was a high value man as well." I would say no, but let's unpack that. Thank you for the question. I appreciate that. I don't mind to share. And I said before, I married a simple Southern man, and the I was thinking about it. I didn't stream yesterday also because yesterday was a very big day for our family. Our oldest has decided what he wants to do after high school, and there were some documents to sign and some things to take care of. And my ex-husband was right there. I couldn't bring myself to signing. I support him, but Dad was right there and shook his hand and said, "I'm proud of you, son." And just, of course, I'm that mom. But no, we both work in tech. Simple Southern man, good man. But I always, I'll never speak ill against, anyone really. But um, I know that even though I had a traditional upbringing, I did get caught up in some of the modern woman mindset when it comes to accomplishments, when it comes to being competitive. And I have since learned the hard way, men are just not going to put up with that. They're going to tell you one or two times, and then they will just stop talking. They may still be there, but they're going to stop talking because I learned that it's really important that a man feels like the king in his castle. He has something to show, he has something to teach, his woman. Y'all know I believe in traditional relationships. If you don't, that's fine too. So the Swab D, thank you for the $10. So generous. I appreciate you. Thank you. He says, "Keep up the great work, Maggie." I will. I will. The boys are 15 and 17 now, so I have time, as they say, and I do want to give back. I have a heart for younger women. So, Watcher Supreme, to answer your question, I would say no. I would say he's a hardworking, he's a good man, he is a great father. You all know the boys actually live with their dad. Um, but no, I mean, we don't come from money. I'm an immigrant. My parents came here with nothing. My dad worked at the Piggly Wiggly, and my mom worked at Ryan's Steakhouse. Grew up very modest, very humble. Um, I have the academia side of my family, so a lot of immigrants, go the education route. So both of my parents have PhDs, and that's the track that I went. My ex-husband's family is military, and so that's the um, that's the track that he was used to. And yeah, I absolutely loved being married. If I am so fortunate, I would love to remarry, but I understand that it's not up to me. And my man told me, you have to finish what you started. And so, ladies, that's just the God's honest truth. As wonderful as you think you are, we're not the ones buying these rings and proposing. So we have to make sure um, we are what the men that we want. And if we do have any baggage, even if they're beautiful bouncing boys, if we do have baggage from previous relationships, that means we have to overperform. So after 10 years of marriage, unfortunately it ended in divorce, but like I said, we co-parent really well, live about 20 minutes away from each other, and keep the family as intact as we can, for the boys. um, and my man now, yeah, he's a VP for a big company, but also comes from blue collar. He's just, that one that is kind of maybe the golden boy of the family, had a vision, and he has been laser focused on it. So, from blue collar to $1 million, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're all just small town. simple folk. So hopefully that answers the question. Thank you for the question. Jessica's here. Thank you so much. I forgot to say, if y'all want to be counted present, feel free to announce yourself. I'm all out of sorts since I'm not in the kitchen. And I lost my Instagram tab, but we're also streaming on Instagram. If you would like to be counted present, feel free to announce yourself. However, if you prefer to watch quietly from the clouds, y'all are always welcome here. This will be the happy, wholesome, family-friendly side of Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So just an open Q&A today. I've got a little bit of time before my next YouTube event. So any question, any topic, I will answer to the best of my ability. So if you have any burning questions, relationship questions, cooking questions, parenting questions, lady questions, questions about the course, questions about boys, we talk about all of that in my group coaching. So I'll just continue to do my advertisements while we wait for the next question. Excuse me. And again, you all can put it in the chat, or I'll drop the link again if you want to actually talk to me. Since I'm just doing an open Q&A, you can click that link and you can be camera on or camera off. So I've kind of phased back the one-on-one consults. I do consults. However, there's one of me and like, I don't know, 70,000 of y'all. Kidding. But especially this year with Marcus being a senior and making plans for what's next for him, I really want to be, I've always been present as a mom, but I really want to be there for them because it just kind of hit me, like one's a senior, one's a junior. And there was a time, I'll just say this for the ladies or for the young mothers, when the boys were young, there was about a 5-year period where I didn't know what was on TV. If I could get a meal on the table and a shower, it was a good day. Ripping and running, chaperoning, parent-teacher conference, like all of that stuff. And you just think that's going to be your life. And then next thing you know, they have a driver's license and it's like they're about to be 18. So since the boys have been teenagers and have been living with their dad, I have free time for some of these hobbies. So I like to say you can do everything. You just can't do it all at the same time. All right. So whatever questions you all have. But anyway, I'll just keep advertising until you stop me with questions. And apologies, Instagram, I closed the tab. So you can hop on over to Facebook or YouTube and put your question in the chat. So I was doing one-on-one coaching. I still will, very selective though, because, it's just more time consuming. I also have group coaching for ladies. We do this twice a week on Thursdays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Central. It's just a monthly fee. It's very affordable. I think it's only $35. I think I'm going to increase the price. But for the ladies who want to learn and ask questions and like being in a group setting with other women that are on the same pathway as them, because the community aspect is really important when you're trying to be the best version of yourself. And I forgot to pack my pearls, y'all, so apologies, Maggie's struggling. But Thursdays is for my ladies under 35 and Sundays are for my ladies over 35. And you can come with your questions. We share our little celebrations. We talk about any struggles. And sometimes, even if you don't have a question, just supporting each other. And someone may ask something that may trigger you. And you're like, you know what? The same thing happened to me. How would you handle it when someone's being too intrusive or whatever it is? So we have group coaching that's available. So price probably will go up. All of this is at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. Of course, last day for the finishing school. We start on Sunday. That is going to be our 8-week flagship course for the ladies of all ages. If your mother didn't teach you how to be a good woman and you want to learn, Lucy and I are older women who love teaching the young. And like I said, we only do it twice a year, so we won't open the doors again until January. And we made pre-sale in December, but we have an advanced course that we're working on in November. And in order to take the advanced course, you have to complete the flagship course. So, any other questions on this Friday afternoon? It is 3 in the afternoon East Coast time, so I know some people may still be working. Let's see, is there anything else? I can't think of anything. Watcher Supreme again. He says, your ex-husband was Caucasian, yes, but I was wondering if your current man was a man of color this time around. Yeah, he's black. That's so funny. I love it how you all are so curious. That's so interesting to me, and I don't really talk about it. Not that I have anything to hide. Clearly, it's obvious when you look at the boys. Sometimes maybe I'm just blind to it, but oh my goodness. I remember I met my ex-husband when I was 18, and I always say, I've never dated out of my race, but the one time I did, I got married, but I really haven't dated a lot, high school boyfriend, college boyfriend, married to college boyfriend. That's pretty much it. But yeah, we met at work. I had a little summer job at this place called Circuit City. Some of those of y'all that are young don't know, but it was an electronics store that Best Buy put out of business, and we were hired during the same time, and they were teaching us how to run the register. I'm probably dating myself, but run the register, take a check, process a credit card, like all of the stuff that you do when you work in retail. And there was this man there, my ex-husband's 7 years older than me. So there was this man there. I was 18, what do I know? I really wasn't, I mean, I'm serious, but I wasn't taking it serious because this was just my summer job before I went to Spelman. So I was like, my dad was like, you're not going to sit at home and do nothing all summer. You need to get a job. So I got a job at Circuit City. And this man, we were in the training together, and he came around and he kept asking me, I forgot how to run the credit card machine again. Oh, can you remind me how to do the checks again? Y'all, I'm slow. Like, I'm 18, okay? Like, what do I know? And I'm just helpful. So I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll show you. And everybody was like, you know what, Margaret? Y'all know Margaret is my name. Maggie is my childhood nickname. They're like, Margaret, he likes you. And I was like, no, he doesn't. He's just asking me how to run the register. Obviously he wasn't listening or he didn't pay attention. And funnily enough, my coworkers were right. And we worked together all summer. And when I was getting ready to leave, because I was going off to college, he asked me if I had a boyfriend. And I was like, oh, that's what we're doing? Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I was 18, but our first date, he took me to Denny's after work. That was fun. And I probably got pancakes or the Rudy Tooty. And I was just like, wow, this whole time everybody was right. And I was oblivious. So, because I'm a relationship girl and because I was raised to be a wife, and the rotational dating never really computed to me. Like, if I like you and you like me and we come from good families and I'm cooperative and that type of thing, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so he was the only boyfriend that I had the whole time I was at Spelman. When he came to visit campus, whew, I got some stories, but it was fun. So yeah, that's how we met and got engaged the year after I graduated and married the year after that. So I was married at 25. So young ladies, you can absolutely give your youth to your husband. And we put off having kids. I didn't have the boys until I was 32, 34. So, went to graduate school, we moved, traveled. You can do a lot of stuff happily married. Um, just get your relationship prioritized if that's important to you. So yeah, that is the story of me and my ex-husband. So you may see him from time to time in pictures, but yeah, We get along really well. The first year was, tough, but that's the story. So, and yeah, my guy is he's black. Suave D says, Maggie, what do you think of women who hyphenate their last name in a marriage? Do you think it's disrespectful? Ooh, y'all are getting juicy. Okay, now the good stuff. Y'all are so cute on the Ask Me Anythings. It's like nobody wants to be the first one out of the gate. It's just Auntie Maggie, but I get it. I am not a hyphenator. Y'all know my name is Margaret Brown. Brown is actually my married name. I kept my married name because we have children together. And I always say, ladies, do whatever you want to. Nobody cares. And I am not going to fight you. But our family of origin, it just means so much. And whether you realize it or not, the example that the kids have when they're being raised, it's almost just as important as their DNA. Why do I say that? So, you all know I'm an immigrant. My parents are from Ghana. I was actually born in Ghana in West Africa. But my point is, my mom and my dad are from two different places in Ghana. So, they speak two different native languages. If you're educated, meaning if you go to school, you learn English in school, but their native language is different. They met in college, another young marriage. I think my mom was married at 23. So they met in junior college or something like that. And when they got married, my mom moved with my dad back to his village. So my mom speaks English, her native language, and my dad's native language. So she took on not only my dad's name, but she learned from which would have been my paternal grandmother, how to cook the food the way they do, how to do the traditions the way they do. If you believe in a wife in a traditional sense, we are a support system for our husbands. I know there's a lot of people now that are like, oh, it's 50-50, we could do anything. And are men taking their wives' names or hyphenating? I don't know. But that is what I saw growing up. So it never crossed my mind that I would marry a man and then try to wrestle him to the ground to take on um, my custom and culture. Now, of course, the boys are half African. They're African and American, and I'm taking them to Ghana for Christmas so they know their culture. Um, but to answer your question about hyphenating last name, I would never do it. So Brown is still my married name, and I plan to keep it until I remarry, if I'm so fortunate, and I will take my husband's name because I am now coming into his family. And my man has told me, oh yeah, if you're gonna be with me, you're gonna be Mrs. Mean Old Mister. No. And I'll tell you this, ladies. Should I even say this? I'll say it. Ooh, should I say it? I'll say it. My man in his phone has me listed as Margaret and my maiden name, not Margaret and my married name. So, ladies, it means that much. Names are identity. And I am still legally Brown. And they asked me when we went through the divorce, they asked me as part of the divorce decree if I wanted to change my name back or keep it. But I believe you're forever family. So that's a little bit about me. So, to answer your question, do I think a hyphenated last name is disrespectful? Disrespectful is a strong word. I wouldn't do it. I do have, y'all know I work with a lot of professional women, and I do have a friend who kept her family name. She got married a little bit later, and she was, let's just say she was a published author. She's some type of professor or something, but professionally, she was known as last name ABC. So even though she married and maybe even legally is last name XYZ, for the public and for everywhere she goes, she is Dr. ABC. So I understand why women may do different things. Um, I I just can't see myself doing it. I just can't. Um, Again, I was married young. So if you think about it mathematically, because I was married at 25 and I'll be 50 next year. So half of my life I've been Margaret Brown. And I married right out of college. So professionally, everybody knew me and has known me as Margaret Brown. So getting married young, like, yeah. But I understand my friend who is ABC, um, this is a second marriage for her. And so, y'all, I'm never going to tell people what to do. I'm just going to tell you what I'm not going to do. And my man's going to tell me what he's not going to have. So, yeah, I just think that is one of the things, if you're thinking about marriage, ladies, you need to think about this. And men, I always feel like I don't have a place to talk to men. I would tell the boys, this is a conversation you need to have. My man told me in the beginning, yeah, we're not doing that. You're going to be with me, you're going to have my name, or you're just not going to be with me. Like, that is how he talks to me. So I'm crystal clear on what's going to happen or not. And I would just tell the boys, you need to have that conversation. And if there's a reason why she wants to keep her father's name, and you're okay with that, by all means. But why would I have my father's name if my husband is my covering? That's what I say. Suave D says, you answer questions so gracefully. I agree with your response. Oh, thank you so much. All right, more questions are coming in. Raina says, Maggie, are the boys allowed to date? Yes. But just like the cell phone, there are restrictions to it, and dad is not playing. The boys lived with me until like the high school years. So elementary and middle school, they were with me and spent weekends and holidays with their dad. Now that they're in the high school years, they live with dad and then spend weekends and holidays with me. So Marcus does have a girlfriend. I adore her. They're both on the swim team, and she's just super sweet. And I'm going to say this because he said it. Hopefully, it's not too much because y'all know these kids. And, I told Marcus how much I loved his little girlfriend. And he was like, yeah, she's just like you, because she's like kind of squealy and emotional like me. Put a pin in that. Um, so it's one of those things, Dad and I talked about. It is important to me that the kids have a social life. It's important to me that they develop social skills. And we've had all of the talks over and over again, multiple times. But, I had a high school boyfriend. I don't know if I've said this publicly, but I think it is very sweet and very special. Oh, thank you so much through the Fire podcast. Thank you for being here for the drive-by support. Um, I think it's very sweet and very special to have, I'll call it a relationship. Y'all know it's not a real relationship because you're not working and paying bills and all that. But I think the social skills between boys and girls, it's important. I think boys need to see how different girls are, and girls need to see how different boys are before they get out here in this world. Meaning, I think puppy love is probably some of the naturalist and most pure. Of course, everything age appropriate, but that's somebody who really loves you for you or likes you for you. What can you do, right? I think Marcus, I think his last date, they went out for pizza. They'll go to Dave and Buster's. Since they're both on the swim team, they'll go to the YMCA and swim laps or whatever they do, together. When you, and again, humbly, respectfully, I don't really talk to men, but I've told Marcus, I said, whatever happens after high school, you will remember this time. Someone who was okay to just, let's pack some sandwiches and just go have a picnic. I think those are still, at my big age of almost 50, I think those are some of the best dates. My man came over last night and I made, I'm always cooking for him, but he wanted to watch Thursday night football. And so, I didn't stream. He was watching the game and, I made his plate and packed his to go. And I just cried, in his lap. He's watching the game. The game is watching me. And I do this all the time. I'm like, man, at home dates are the best. Doing absolutely nothing when you can just be. I think a lot of, I'll say it, modern women think dating is to impress and be impressed. It is not. It is a bonding. So, long winded answer, yes. So, Marcus has a little girlfriend. She's adorable. It's been 2 years. They went to Eclipse de Luna for their anniversary. Y'all. Um, Alex goes to military school, and it's an all boys military school. So, I do wish for him, he had, I understand why boys and girls are not together in education sense because can be distracting. So what we've had to do as parents is put him in summer programs, summer jobs, camps, like different things where he can be around girls. And I think he had a little summer girlfriend or whatever. But yeah, long-winded answer. Hopefully that helps. Teron says the word yes. Okay, y'all. Let me focus. I know. I'm that woman, right? I'm always just going around the mountain. Jessica says, some same. I'll change my last name once I remarry again as well. Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, okay, I'll make it brief. If you think about it, ladies, my man tells me, and when I talk to Thane, he tells me often, you only get one bite at this apple, meaning you only have one opportunity to get the outcome that you want. So these women who think, oh, the next man will or the next one, no. Look at me. As good of a woman I try to be for an amazing man, I still come with baggage. I'm older. I have 2 children from marriage, but I have to be mom mode and then switch into lady mode and just it's a lot. So that's why I encourage ladies to prioritize it, settle it young, and stick it out, because trying to anything else, you're just trying to piece something together. So my point is, a man who would marry me second time around is accepting me with all of that baggage. As much as I try to overperform, how dare I not take his name? That's what I say. All right, the Watcher Supreme, another question. We're having a session for the Watcher Supreme. This is open Q&A, y'all. I just got some time. I'm in Miami, so ask your questions. Instagram, if you're watching, I closed the tab. Sorry, I can't see your questions, but you can hop on over to YouTube. Okay, Watcher Supreme says, how do you feel about young women learning about the importance of being accountable for their actions, not only in relationships but in life in general? I think this is incredibly important for everyone. You asked specifically about women, and I will hopefully briefly answer your question. I think this accountability infestation is in boys and girls, men and women. And I understand why you're asking about women, but we see that now. It's like the kids, you're supposed to get a treat just because, like, what? Don't get me on my soapbox. Some of y'all, the participation trophies, or we're now having pre-K graduations and people are doing all this stuff from graduating middle school. Like, what have you done? No. Also, for me, accountability is owning up to what you've done if you've done something wrong and taking the consequence for that. So you don't get to do everything everybody else does. Speak about relationships. If you didn't prioritize relationships in your 20s and now you're in your 40s, you don't get to come to the front of the line. You wait your turn if there's a turn for you. A lot of times when I talk to women, they're trying to find out the cheat code. Like, how can I jump to the front of the line now that I figured out what I was doing is wrong? You can't. You're going to have to sit there. And if a man is interested in you, his timeline is his timeline. That's what happens. It's harder when you get older. It just is. So, yes, this question about being accountable, absolutely. I think you a piece of Auntie Maggie advice. It is very attractive when you are young in spirit, but mature in behavior. Meaning, keep yourself up, put some effort into your appearance, put some clothes on, do your hair, all that stuff that you all know that men like, if you're interested in men. If you're not, why are you here? But I think when a woman is youthful and beautiful and young in spirit and open and feminine and all of those things, but can have an actual conversation. Y'all, I got in trouble today. And if you want to know the story, I will tell you my story time. I don't know how I end up getting a talking to, but I got in trouble. And I just had to say, you know what? You're right. I wasn't thinking it through and I shouldn't have done that. So I'll do better next time. Um, it's so disarming, especially when we have men, especially our men that are used to, if you can just say, you know what? You're right. I need to do better next time. Be accountable for it. That will often win you so much more grace than trying to argue and, but you said and you did. No. So, yes, be accountable. Be accountable. Be accountable. The old leader. Raina said that's what I did last night, watch the game. I'm glad you watched it. I heard it ended like spectacularly. I was cola passed. But that's what we do. Those are our dates. I make him dinner. I eat before he comes. I make him dinner. I pack something to go. I serve him. I let him eat in silence. And then if he wants an after dinner snack, coffee, popcorn, fruit, whatever, I'll make that. I'll clean up the kitchen. And then I'm one of those. Once I stop moving and I sit down, I'm out. Good question. No, I'm glad you guys are enjoying. So yeah, again, open Q&A. We don't do these often. Y'all know I make food and femininity content, so I'm usually streaming by myself or with Lucy or a collab. So I got time today to talk to y'all. And again, you can put your questions in the chat, or if you want to talk to me, you can absolutely click the link and be camera on or camera off. All right, let's see. Suave says, even as a man, I'm working on being accountable and owning up to my mistakes without making a bunch of excuses that nobody cares about anyway. That part right there, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I think that's where a lot of women are getting it confused because what I see, and again, humbly, as a boy mom, I see the way men talk to other men. The boys get checked in the barber shop if they're out of pocket. Don't be an athlete. The way their coaches snatch them up out of the game or the swim meet and read them the riot act. The way the world tells our boys, tells our men, you're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not rich enough, you're not strong enough, you're not whatever enough. Men get kicked in the teeth all the time. So they learn very early, nobody's coming to rescue me. If I want this, I'm going to have to do it myself. And that has been a big lesson for me with the boys going to live with their dad. And I've shared that with you all. I was that mom, maybe a little bit of a helicopter mom, but making excuses, second chances, 10th chances, calling the teachers. Y'all know how it is. I mean well, but my behavior wasn't helping. And their dad, my ex husband, was like, if they want to fail, I'll let them fail. I was like, what? No. But man, the way they turned it around when doors started coming off the hinges, cell phones got taken away, chores got doubled and tripled. Yeah, that's what men go through. At least the men that I know. Um, so yeah, I think a lot of women find out. Unfortunately, they find out too late. So let this be your warning. Rena says your team lost, but it was a great game. That's what I heard. When I woke up, I heard that it ended fantastically. So bad. All right, what else you guys got? We'll go on for about 20 more minutes. Excuse me. We're just doing an open Q&A. Ask me anything. This is coaching from an older woman. If you all want to know, If you want to pick my brain, if there's something you've been dying to ask me, today is your day. I do these when I can, but other than that, y'all know I make food and femininity content. Let's see, Raina has a question. Ooh, is there one thing you would do differently if you get married again? One thing. Sweetheart, I would do 100 things different. Um, what's the biggest thing? I would keep myself up. Um, I know letting my weight get out of control did not help me, and I do regret that. Now I'm at a point, with age, like you really have to watch things. I would keep myself up for sure and not think that all my other qualities are going to make up for a simple attractiveness that men require. And I think it's a joy to give it to them. Um, I would do less and be more, meaning, y'all, I heard something that just blew me away. I was watching some other presentation and like this IT guy, I'm a tech person, this IT guy said he was coding something and his birthday was coming up and his girlfriend asked him, what do you want for your birthday? And his answer was, just sit here with me while I work on this project. And for me, that just speaks volumes about the simplicity of men. And they really want our feminine presence, but they don't want us doing too much. I'm always doing stuff. My man tells me, why don't you just sit down somewhere? You're always doing stuff. That's why I'm here, there, and everywhere. Um, I know I have a lot of natural energy, but I would channel that in my hobbies and just be that peaceful presence. It's not the end of the world. Let them drive the way they want to drive. Let them have the hobbies they want to have. Let them eat the way they want to eat. Just leave the man alone. Just be a good woman to a good man. I think we overcomplicate it, and I got caught up in that. So, um, I did a lot of stuff right. To this day, my ex-husband says, I was, great, but I would do all of that and more. The Watcher Supreme says, what do you think about this thing that's going around about single mothers are raising their sons to become son husbands, where the mothers are preventing their sons from going out into the world? This is so tragic and so damaging. I see this a lot in, unfortunately, single women with boys because they don't have a man in their life. The son takes on an unnecessary burden. So, first thing, we don't have kids so that they are our retirement plan, so that they are our roommate, so that they are our business partner or clean credit source. I mean, all of that is just tragic to me. But I was very mindful about that. Having two boys, thank you, Lord, for the blessing, but two big old boys, y'all have seen them. It's very important for me that they live their own life. I will always be mom. And part of their dad coming and saying, pack your bags, you're coming with me. He did not ask me. The boys got in a fight with each other. And of course, I'm like, ah. He came over. He said, pack your bags, you're coming with me. You're not doing this to your mother. And that is how they went to live with their dad. It wasn't a holding hand session, a talking session. Like legally, I still have physical custody or whatever. They're with their dad. Um, the son husband problem is so selfish because women are just thinking about, well, this is what I want right now. I want you to sit down and watch Lifetime movies with me. That's not what that boy is here for. We have to prepare them. They are someone else's husband. Talking to Marcus and Alex about, I talk to them about their future. One day you're going to have a wife and family of your own. Be thinking about what you want that to look like so that you can start preparing the women that you're vetting. I talk to them about their future. So as a mom, yes, that means letting go. Of course, I've taught them the life skills and they can cook and clean and all that, but I've tried to demonstrate to them that mom will be okay. Um, this upcoming year is going to be a little tough one for me. If you see me getting a little bit, having a senior, we just had the parent meeting, cap and gown order, senior trip, all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not ready. But I'm so proud of them and so excited for their future. I've had my turn. I have lived my life. I'm still living my life. Living La Vida Loca in Miami. Not like that, but y'all know what I mean. Um, but yeah, the son husbands, and you see moms even doing it to their daughters sometimes too, when the daughters start having a man or having plans that don't include the mom, they start throwing rocks to try and say, I don't know if I do that. It's selfish, it's damaging, and then you've created another, you know, mama's boy, sugar cub or whatever that the women eventually don't like. So as a mom, that means I need to give them guidance, but let them live, make their own mistakes and learn from it. I need to make sure that I have my own hobbies and goals that don't burden my children. So, a lot of the stuff that you all see me do, traveling, having the YouTube channel, the finishing school, all of these are things that I do to kind of keep that energy that I have, and keep myself occupied. You have to find those things because as you get older and you're doing your job, I can do my job with my eyes closed. You have to find those hobbies. And then financially, that's a big one that we don't talk about. When I got divorced, I met with my financial advisor to put everything in place so the boys get everything 50-50, and look at what retirement looks like for me without a man in the picture. Thankfully, I have a man in the picture, but it's my responsibility to be financially taken care of. I leave an inheritance to my children. I don't rob them of their future. And so, yeah, that's that's how I feel about it. So, yeah, what other questions do you all have? Like the son husband thing is, and the guilt. Oh my God, that's another thing. The guilt that these mothers are putting on their boys if they want to go out, if they want to have friends, if they want to have girlfriends. Oh my gosh, so bad. So it's an adjustment. Don't get me wrong. As a mom, it's an adjustment. But my biggest accomplishment in life is having been a wife and being a mother. And I have a lot of accomplishments on paper, but I think about it often. If I have all these celebratory things and I don't do right with my children, who am I really? So I think about that often. I think about the boys and I tell them. That's the other thing. I tell the boys, and I've been telling them since they were like single digit age, you are going to live your life. Mom will be fine. I'm putting things in place so I will be okay. I don't want you to worry about me. I say that out of my mouth to the boys so they're not out there living their life and saying, oh man, I really worked hard. I want to buy this thing, but mom's always complaining about money. Nope. If anything is ever tight, the boys never know. I think y'all know. I mean, I work in tech, so we get laid off from time to time, but I was laid off last year. It's happened like 5 times. I mean, I always bounce back, but anytime I was laid off, nothing changed for the boys. I went without. I cut all of the extra services, no hair, nails, like all that stuff. You can do it myself. Those are splurge things. But I made sure they were okay. That's not their burden. It's not their burden at all, ever. So, yeah. My heart goes out to the boys and also the men that are still dealing with this from mothers who are just like, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. I think that's tragic. I say it should be the other way around. If my children aren't doing well, I am not happy as a mom. But that's just me. 10 more minutes and then we'll wrap this up. I'm going to take a shower and put my yoga clothes on and go to Miami Beach and take a yoga class with this big YouTuber. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to come to these events and learn and network and have some fun too. So, what other questions do you all have? Ask me anything. I'm Maggie, the substitute teacher. Like I say, I'm just a mom and a home cooker. I'm not cooking. I had a taco and a salad. It was a short rib taco. It was good. And I had some chips and salsa. So, yeah, I'm splurging a little bit, but not going crazy, crazy. Um, so, yeah. Yep, yep, yep. So I'll just rehash my advertisements while you all are coming through with your questions, and we'll wrap up. Again, we have one more day to register for the finishing school. The finishing school is a private class. It's taught over Zoom. So, ladies, you can be anywhere. We even have an app. You can catch the replay. You have lifetime access to the materials. So, if you struggle with being a woman, if you really weren't taught how to carry yourself, how to talk to people, how to not get triggered, how to be in a community of other like minded women, that is what Lucy and I have built. And so it's an 8-week course, and we've had young ladies in there as young as 18, and we've had grandmas in there as old as 60 plus, because personal development never ends. And if you want to learn something that I don't think is taught very well or very much, we'd love to have you. Watcher Supreme, another question. He says, do you plan to continue to work in the tech industry until retirement? Oh boy, I think I've said it before. My man has told me he will retire me, and so I am so grateful for that. So before that, he said 55, but now he said it's even sooner than that. So I'm holding on. But before that, when it was just me planning with my financial advisor, yeah, I'm certified. I don't talk about it, but I've got an MBA, and I have 2 major IT certifications and a couple minor IT certifications. I always say the work that I do, it's what I do, it's not who I am. That's why the cooking and this femininity stuff is such an outlet for me, because I do work in a very structured, very masculine, very data driven environment. But the honest to God's truth, as you can see here, tech pays very well, especially, well, I was going to say in Atlanta, but now that since the pandemic, I've worked for companies in Philadelphia, Virginia, of course, Atlanta. Companies now can hire people anywhere. And if you have the skill set and if you have the years of experience, your resume speaks for itself. I mean, the recruiters call me all the time, and I'm not bragging, but we're looking for someone with this qualification. So it pays well, very well. There's a lot of 6-figure tech jobs, easy, easy. So it's a way to earn kind of a double income, if you will, because most people make in the 50s, what that's average, 40s, 50s. So as one person, you can make like, a double income. But that means, I had to hit the bricks, and I was the nerdy girl. I'm maybe a late bloomer, but I hit it hard when I was young. Um, so yeah, I plan to work in tech. I'm very grateful that I'm able to work from home. That changed after the pandemic. I was one of those that had the long commute into the city. Oh my God. And just, it was bad. It was really bad. And so I didn't know how bad it was until the pandemic happened and we all got sent home to wait it out for 2 weeks. So luckily for me, I never went back to the office, and I never will. And I was telling someone, one of my consults, I used to be an executive for the Coca-Cola company, big jobs, big bonuses, all that, great. But what I've noticed is every job, like, when you're young and you're coming up in your career, you think every job needs to be a promotion, right? You start in your 30s and you want to make 40s and 50s. And I remember when I got to 80 and I was like, oh, if I could just get to 6 figures, and then that happens. And then you're just kind of like, okay, what's next? You're always chasing like this goal that you have, but you realize it just comes with more responsibility, got a kid in private school. I mean, y'all know how it is. Life is just life. Um, but now that I'm on the decline, over 50, almost over 50, middle age, I'm noticing that I'm turning down those big jobs now. And I no longer want to manage people. I'm okay being an individual contributor. Before, I used to I wanted that title, senior manager. Oof, yes, absolutely. Director is next. And then now, like, even doing contract work, I used to be like team, Maggie, rah rah. But being corporate since college, I've been at it for 25 years. And so you have seen the mission statements, the town halls, the leadership changes. Like, you've seen it all. 10 years in the game, there is nothing new under the sun. So I find myself as I get older stepping back. And what's the blessing for me is that I just continue to rack up more years of experience, and my resume speaks for itself. So now I work in the way that puts the family first and still provides until I don't have to. Let's see. I love this little, it looks like Auntie Jenny with the white hair. I'm getting some gray, y'all can see. I'm getting some gray. I'm not gonna color it. I'm just gonna be like Cruella de Vil. I'm gonna have like a silver, whatever. I'm not gonna color it. What I have is what you get. Raina says, how long have you been looking up different recipes and recreating them? Great question. 5 more minutes, y'all. I see you condemned. Okay, I hear you. Okay, so this actually circles back to the beginning. This will be a good one to close on. How long have you been looking up different recipes and recreating them? I've had my channel for a couple years. So here's the story. So grew up always kind of the chubby girl, but just happy. Y'all know, just cute, happy. I don't bother nobody. Don't nobody bother me. But as you age, the weight started to become like a health problem, right? Became pre-diabetic, borderline cholesterol, borderline elevated blood pressure. Okay, so then you go to the doctors and it's like, at first it's like, okay, you might want to watch this. Okay, you might want to watch this. And then one day you're like, yeah, we have an uptick here. If you don't want to get on medication, you need to fix this. And I think part of it too, because I was so career focused, and y'all know how it is. This is why, unfortunately, our men pass before us, but you're working night and day. You have this long commute, big demands on the job, the stress. And so you wait till you're so hungry, you don't care, you're overeating, you're going through the drive through, you're just doing whatever. Now, luckily for me, I had a traditional upbringing, and my mom was she's a retired home economics teacher. So I had a very good example. But like I always tell y'all, I got caught up in modern woman. I'm a reformed modern woman, thinking that big job meant something. It does not, because believe me, when they're ready to let you go, they will, and that's fine. It's just business. Um, so not only was it putting stress on my marriage and my like stressed out all the time. I was probably snapping at the kids. I wasn't cooking, even though I knew how to. I wasn't cooking because it was just like, the quickest thing I could do. So, weight, relationship, everything. So when I had that uptick of, okay, now it's not like you want to watch this, it's like medication is around the corner, I was like, I am not getting on medication. If you are on maintenance medication, I am not a doctor. Please do what works for you. But I'm the type of person, I try to stay as natural as possible. I mean, like, of course, I'll take a prescription, but there's a difference between a prescription to fix something temporarily, and I have seen people on chronic, like you're always just taking pills, and I was like, nah, we're not doing that. So to answer your question, sweetheart, I went to see a metabolic specialist and got tested for the food sensitivities, and that was in 2020. So come up on 5 years, I've been on this struggle bus. Um, and so I started to learn that I was sensitive to the sugar, the dairy, the gluten. Okay, you got to cut that. And I did that privately on my own. When I cut that out, the weight just started coming off and all the problems that I had went away. You can fix it. And then because some people look at food and they're just like, I don't really care. I'll eat whatever. That is not me. Clearly, I like to eat. And so working from home in the pandemic, I got so sick of having the news on and the body counts, how many people had passed from, C-19. It was just so sad to me. So I got sick of hearing that on nonstop. So I changed the channel to like Food Network, and I changed the channel to, whatever the cooking shows are, all of them. So whenever I would like go, do something and I would walk by and the TV was on and I had it on mute because I'm working from home, and I just like the aesthetics of seeing this beautiful food. And I was like, that looks amazing. Then I start studying and I'm like, oh, but I can't eat that. Oh, but I can't eat that. Man, I can't eat that either. And that's where the idea came from. I have my test results. I know what I can have. I wonder if I try to recreate that with my ingredients, with my substitutes, will I still like it? Maggie, the substitute teacher, was born. So hopefully that answers your question. Watcher Supreme says, being that your parents have PhDs, have you ever considered going back to school to get a doctorate? No, sir. Mm-mm. I have an MBA, that's enough. For business, MBA is it. I remember one of my VPs asked me, so what's next after MBA? And I said I wanted my MOM. I was married when I was in graduate school, but PhD, I'm a PhD. PhD is great if you want to do research or if you want to teach. I want to do neither. I'm a business tech person, so I've got plenty of school, but I'm good. Escape the Rat Race says you learn something new every day. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, sweetheart. Another student from the finishing school. All right, ladies, link is in the description. We're going to wrap it up because I am going to get myself ready. I am in Miami. Welcome to Miami. Going to an event tonight, and so no stream tomorrow. So I'll see you guys Saturday, but I just wanted to do a quick little pop-up. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for being here. And thank you through the Fire podcast. Thank you for being a member for 18 months. I do have Maggie memberships. They start at $5 a month if you just want to support automatically. And I post some behind the scenes stuff there. So thank you. Thank you, Swabdi, for the $10 and the $5. You all are so kind. And it's always nice to chat. All right. So I'm going to love you and leave you here. And I'll take some pictures and video of the fun stuff here in Miami. And I will see you all probably, back in the kitchen Sunday. If there's new Kevin Samuels content, maybe I'll respond to that. I keep waiting to see. Gina says, this was great. Thanks for sharing, Maggie. Enjoy yourself and have a great evening. All right, everybody, let me go do some yoga on the beach. I hope I don't break nothing. Bye, y'all. This is fun. This is so much fun. Let me see. 10 plus sounds put something together for me. All right.